Hey, welcome back to Evil's Comics. This guy over here is Evil Mike, and this is going to be a different type of video. If you saw the thumbnail, this is my Tyloxthemighty submission video for his 100 subscriber giveaway. First off, congrats, Tyloxthemighty, my man. First off, I already love the man. We talk. You know, he's been on Spine Ticks for the last, I'd say, month, something now. So, I mean, and I already watched his channel, and he shows up in a lot of the channels that I frequent. But I just enjoy his personality. We have some of this, you know, similar dark humor kind of thing. It's just nice to meet, you know, someone that has your same sense of humor, but also love of books and that kind of stuff. Is love of D&D and stuff like that. As many know, I'm not just into comics. I'm into Hot Wheels, action figures, statues, Gundams. I read manga, anime. I'm into a lot, man. Okay, so he had wanted us to do a video asking us to like 5 questions that he wants answered in the video. Honestly, I didn't want to do this video, and I wasn't going to, but I was like, man, I better, because he's a friend kind of thing. But honestly, this is a hard video for me to do because a lot of the questions I don't know if I really have an answer. Like, I wish I had better answers, because I would if my collection was different. But at the moment, you know, these are the ones that I believe match the answers to the questions. So the first question was honestly one of the hardest ones, but it was like biggest value-wise book. Like, what's the biggest book that you have in your collection that you can't believe you have, kind of thing. Mine's kind of like a tie, I guess you can say, because honestly I don't really look at my books as far as value. I do know, I mean, the 2 that I'm going to show you, I kind of have a rough idea of the value, but I don't sit there and look at them constantly. I haven't even gone through my whole collection to see if like stuff has increased or anything like that. But my 2 is, this one would be my 1, would be Stray Dogs, the first print. And I mean, me, you know, like reading the synopsis before the book came out and falling in love with it from the get-go, and not being one of those people that hopped on the train afterwards. Like, that to me, like, as big as the book has gone up, and it should be, you know, this is one of those good examples where I do believe this story and this book is worth as much as it's going for, type thing, because of its uniqueness and what Trish and you know, Tony Fleeks, what they had done in this book. So in my opinion, this is kind of like, and if you know that, you know, it keeps shooting up in value, and I do have all the first prints, and I have a lot of the horror homage covers as well. I went with that one the first round, and I should have picked up more on the first go, but as y'all know, I don't usually pick up doubles and stuff of other books, and I should have, but on issues 2, 3, and 4 I did. I just didn't do it on the first round. My other book that I would say is the, you know, the one that Dank gave me, the 9.0 Toxic Avenger, the newsstand. I already love trauma films and Toxic Avenger growing up. I grew up with that. I love B-rated and C-rated horror movies as it is. I grew up with Full Moon Entertainment, you know, Puppet Master, that kind of stuff. So this one's another big one in my book, and then on top of that, on how much that one is increasing in value. But I want to say dollar-wise, of course, that one's way more. But I mean, right now, if I sent this in and slabbed it, you know, it would be way more than that one. But those are kind of like my tie. I like them because they do have meaning to me. Like, as to say Red Sonja, you know, Red Sonja, I do love the character and everything, but as far as like her having meaning to me, I grew up watching her movie. You know, I think that's about it. You know, I mean, there wasn't like a Red Sonja cartoon that I can think of. You know, I mean, she might have showed up in Conan the cartoon series, and I did watch that growing up. But as far as reading the books, that's brand new to me, Conan and Red Sonja. So I mean, it was cool that was given to me, but you know what I'm saying? It doesn't have as much value as far as, you know, invested in my heart, type of thing. Okay, so second question was favorite C-lister character, and honestly, I have like B or C lister, and honestly, I have a ton of favorite B list and C list characters. This was another question that I was drawing a blank at, because a lot of my favorite characters are the B and C lister. Like the Question is one of my favorite, like kind of like C lister like hero, like Booster Gold. But as far as like favorite, there's one that I lean to like a bunch, and he doesn't even get used a lot, and I kind of like him for that reason, because I know what he's doing, like, and I love that idea of him. But and I'm not even a Green Lantern fan, but I do love me some Larafleeze. There's something about, you know, him being the only, like, what is it, the orange ring, you know, the orange lantern, because it's based off of like jealousy, and I'm not saying I'm a jealous person, but I don't know, there's something about this character that like spoke to me from the get-go. The fact that he was like, that he had all these other rings and he could have given them out, but he's so like jealous of the power that he keeps them all to himself, kind of like a Golem or something like that, but a cooler version of it, I guess you can say. And I don't know, every time I see Larafleeze, I love the shit out of Larafleeze. There's just something about him, and he doesn't show up a lot, but when he does, I always love either the writer or the artist that you know, gets to play with him, because it's not even just his look or anything, it's also the way he's written, you know, in the jealousy kind of comedic kind of way. But that would be I would have to say that was like, I mean, I even written it down when I was reading, you know, I had to go back and listen to the questions, because he put out this video a while ago. But I had, like, as soon as I heard that, I was like, yep, that Larafleeze, he's one of mine. Like, I think every time I see him, I have several issues where I have like double covers, because I pick them up whenever I see him. Okay, so third question was happiest to own, and I have a couple that fit this bill. One that I kind of paid a little pricey for. I bought the TMNT Adventures #1, like the 9/8 whatever. It's raw, but it's still a 9/8 candidate, and it's like a newsstand or whatever they call it, blah blah blah. This one right here was a book that I missed, that pissed me off that I missed it, and it wasn't due to me missing it. It wasn't due to like my comic shop. It was just the whole everything that went on in 2020, and like. It came out for me on a Saturday, and comics come out on a Tuesday and Wednesday, right? So it was just something that came out that I mean, my comic book shops that were in my area, they did not know it was coming on a Saturday, like it was going to get delivered, because it had missed its delivery on that Tuesday or something, and we got it like on that Saturday, and nobody knew about it. So by the time I even found out that the shops got it, it was already gone, because there was a first appearance in it. So me finding this in a dollar bin, I was like ecstatic, and there's a reason it was in a dollar bin. One of the pages has like a tear in it. I don't care. Like the fact that I finally found this and didn't have to pay astronomical prices for it, because it got pricey. But this is Death Knight Metal, the Legends of the Dark Knight, and the only reason it got pricey was because it has the first appearance of the Robin King. I think that's the reason. I mean, and it took me like a year and a half later to finally get this issue, and I'd already read it and everything, because I think I read it digitally just to read the stories in it. But this is a series that I did love, and one of the times that I wanted, and I'd have to say this is the happiest one. Like the day I found this in a dollar bin, I was like, yes! And like, I think I scared like all the people at Half Price Books when I found this, because it was loud, and everybody was like, that weirdo. Alright, so the fourth question is the character I hate. And I honestly, I hate that question, because for one, I don't want to offend anybody, because there's a lot of people that like characters that you don't like, kind of thing. And there are characters that I generally don't read, or, you know, I wouldn't say I hate them, but they don't appeal to me, kind of thing, is the way I would word it. But there is one character that I have read recently that I hate this character. I hate this book. Everybody knows this book, but for me it was it's this character. This was the worst like character development character. This was one of the worst reads I've read from this year. It might be one of the worst. No, I wouldn't say it's the worst ever, but this is definitely one of the worst reads from this year, in my opinion. And it sucks because the artist was good. The build up of the I mean, I wanted to get into this book, and secretly I gave it a second try. You know, I went back and read it again. I actually picked up the second issue. It just, I could not get into it. But that's my the character that I hate is a serial mom of madness, or whatever her mother of madness, you know, secret hero name. I don't know. Okay, so the last question. Ooh, let me hide that. The last question is, who has the best rogues gallery? And in my opinion, it's really hard because there are some heroes that have an amazing rogues gallery, and I will say some of my runners-up would be Flash, Spider-Man, the Justice League, Avengers, Fantastic Four, X-Men. But in my opinion, the best rogues gallery, I'm biased, but it's Batman. And my reasoning behind it is because it's very wide open as far as what you get in his rogues gallery. Like, I'm a big fan of horror, right? So there are a lot of horror style villains, and recently they've kind of given us a little more of the creepy. Specifically, one of my favorites, like Dr. Teeth and Professor Pig, the Doll Maker. Would be some of those few. The Tin-Eyed Man recently was pretty cool. The Sundowner, but he also has some other, and I like that it's not just one-sided. You know, there's like robotic, there's, you know, the superhero, there's the mythical, and I like all that. Some of my more closer favorite ones would be Spider-Man and Flash. I love Flash's rogue gallery, and it's funny. But that's kind of why I love his rogues gallery, because they are all badass, like Mirror Master, like Heatwave, Captain Cold, you know. And I'm just talking about the main, you know, I'm not even talking about like Reverse Flash and Grodd and kind of the other ones, because they're kind of like bigger class of the villain. But they always, like any comic I pick up from the Flash, and they show up and it's either written really well, like where you fall in love with like Captain Cold or Heatwave or something like that, or it's like this comedic style where they're playing off of it kind of thing. But Batman's rogues gallery, hands down. I mean, Joker, of course, but I like a lot of his villains: Scarecrow, Ventriloquist, Mad Hatter, Poison Ivy. You know, Killer Croc, Two-Face. Honestly, I don't think there's a Batman villain that's been created over the past years that I don't like. None of them I generally like, and some of the weirder ones, or more basic ones, are some of my favorites. Like Zsasz would be, Victor Zsasz would be one of my, like, all time. He's one of the key first appearances that I have from the Batman run. Because he's one of my favorites. The whole serial killer, the whole marking himself, the fact that he's just a regular guy, and he's in there messing up Batman sometimes. I like that. Sometimes he's taken out really easily. He is just a regular guy, but I like that aspect too. But Tylox, these are my answers. I'm going to upload this video. I will link you when it's done. For all you people that sat through this and had to listen to this random talk about these questions, I'm sorry, but Alright guys, like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Bye guys.